This is Tuesday, March 22nd, the 43rd CALLERLAB Convention in Norfolk. I'm Mike Callahan, I'm the moderator. I'm going to have each of our panelists introduce themselves in a minute. I've been calling since 1960, and I was a full-time caller from 1974 till 2014. Starting to slow down a little bit now. My wife just retired. Why don't you guys introduce yourself?
All right, I'm Guy Steele. I'm from Lexington, Massachusetts. I've been calling since about 2008. I'll take it the front. I'm a product of Tech Squares. I'm one of those. My mentors are Ted Lazat and Bill Ackerman, so I come from a somewhat different point of view, but I hope to tell you something. I don't want to turn everyone to Tech Squares, but I want to provide a couple of hints that may be useful to people.
Hi, my name is Dave Eno. I'm from the Syracuse, New York area. This is my 40th year of square dancing, and I've been calling for almost as long, for probably a year or two less than that. I don't know exactly. My mom had some tapes that I think she used to use as a blackmail. I call 2 nights. I call weekly, 2 nights every week, and then probably an average of 4 nights per week throughout the year. And I call beginners through C1.
My name is Wendy VanderMeulen. I'm from Ottawa, Canada. I've been dancing for 32 years, and I'm now in my 16th year of calling. And I have 3 clubs that I call for. 2 are weekly and 1 is monthly.
This session is being taped as well as videoed, so when we have questions from the floor, make sure you state your name and where you're from. Okay, very important for our, especially for the tape here. Okay, mainstream interrogation. You know, you're getting ready for a dance and you say to yourself, I'd like to do something different tonight. So you plan a few things, go to the hall, you start setting up your equipment, and all of a sudden you see who's coming through the door. And you go, oh man, I'm not going to be able to do this tonight. So, you know, you call the dance, everybody has a good time, everybody goes home happy except you. And you say, what can I do to make my calling, my choreography just a little bit different, but yet be successful enough for my weaker dancers to pick up? So what we're doing today is each one is taking a mainstream call, and we're going to show you a little bit different way of using them. Not necessarily extreme, but you know, enough so that it's a little different for the dancers to pick up. I'm starting with cast off 3/4. If you look at, we have handouts by the way on the table back there if you didn't get them. Okay. Cast off 3/4 is an interesting call because it's the first time a 3/4 turn is used in the mainstream list. And it's a basis for spin the top, spin chain through, centers in, cast off 3/4 round. When you start talking about 3/4 turns, the degree of difficulty starts to increase, especially for new dancers, because they've never done a 3/4 turn before. So this is why you got to be careful when you're teaching it. When it originally came out, it was used specifically from lines of 4 facing out. When I started calling, there was no ocean waves, there was no 2-faced lines, there was no columns. So what you did is you had lines 4 pass through, cast off 3/4. The centers walked around the ends. Okay. I venture to guess if you'd called that cold today, even at a plus floor, probably a lot of the squares might break down because it's just not used anymore. Okay. I have some teaching tips here. If you're ever teaching it, make sure you say the centers walk around the ends, like a gate opening up. The ends are the hinge, the centers walk around the ends. And you can tell your dancers, if you cast off all the way around, you're going to end up in the same shoe prints. So just go 3/4 in the circle. And that seems to get them thinking about it. Okay, count the walls as you turn. Very important. If you're in a hexagon hall, though, you're done. So the traditional use, again, was from lines facing out. As calls were invented, ocean waves, two-faced lines, columns, inverted lines, you could start using cast-off three-quarters round from these different positions, okay? The main thing is when you do a cast-off three-quarters round, make sure you have them take hands after the call, very important, because it sets up the other formation, okay? We're going to be doing a lot of dancing today because we want to show you some different ways of using some of these calls. So I'd like to get a square up here if we could.
Have a square picked out.
You got a square picked
We
out?
have a good square picked out.
Okay.
Or we can have a second square up here too, I guess.
Well, let's have one because Dave, because maybe, you know, we didn't want to get too tired here.
No, that's just,
Okay.
we have our own square.
Do we want to use the, what do you think? Let's use these colored things real quick too. Okay. You know, with people not dressing in square dance clothes anymore, it's getting tougher and tougher to call. Because I used to use a lot of colors, outfits, things like that to sight call, and it's kind of tough, okay? I have a lot of...
Guys, you're the switch.
all right.
Excuse me.
Okay,
You want us to switch now?
I have a few things listed here, and I'm not going to go through all of them, okay? Could we have the head couples just go in, face your corner, make an ocean wave, all right? With the right hand, cast off three-quarters. Centers trade, swing through. With the right hand, cast off three-quarters. Centers trade, swing through. Okay? You end up with your corner. Okay? It's a zero, it's a double zero, only it switched the couples over. So that's a nice module to use, using cast off three-quarters round from an ocean wave. Okay? Square your set again. A nice equivalent for square through four, head couples step forward and swing through. With the right hand, cast off three-quarters round. Then do a walk and dodge. Nice equivalent for square through, and it also takes just about the same timing. Okay. Square your set one more time. Let's have the head couples just slide over, make lines of four with the sides, just so we have lines of four. Okay. All right. Let's have the men extend, swing through. With the right hand, cast off three-quarters. Ladies face to your right and circulate two positions. And you should be coming to your corner. Allemande left. Okay, come back and promenade home, whatever. If you call A2, that's a spin the windmill right. Okay, all these things that we're giving you, make sure you work out with your checkers first. And checkers are a lot better to work things out than a computer because it gives you a sense of how the body flow is. It just gives you a sense more of dancing when you work out with your checkers. How about a two-faced line? Okay, let's have the heads again slide over, make lines of four with the sides. Okay, do a right and left through, and a quarter more. That makes your two-faced line. Now, we could do a couple circulate, don't do it yet and cast off three-quarters, but it's a lot easier, it makes it a lot tighter if you have the centers trade first, and then a cast off three-quarters. So the center's gonna walk around the ends, okay? Flutter wheel. And that's a nice zero, okay, from lines of four. So watch it again. Do a right and left through, and a quarter more, and the ladies trade. Make sure to cast off three-quarters round. You got to tell the dance the centers walk around the ends. And there's a nice cast off three-quarters round zero. Okay. Square your set. Let's have the heads pair off. Go and face your corner. Okay. Slide through. Okay. Back up again. Square your set. Square your set. Sorry about that. Heads slide through. square through 3. Put centers in. Now the difficulty increases now, right? If you have an inverted line. Cast off 3/4. Ends run around the center. And you got a nice corner line that you can play with, okay? So that's your inverted line, cast off 3/4. Again, degree of difficulty start to increase, and make sure that your people take hands after the call, all right? Square set, we do it from an Alamo ring, okay? Well, let's do it from a column first, okay? Get your lines 4 again. Touch a quarter. Circulate. Make sure you put a circulate in before you cast 3/4 because you'll have overflow after the touch a quarter. Okay? Cast off 3/4. Just the boys trade. Cast off 3/4. We're back in the column again. Circulate. All the boys run. Okay, make an ocean wave. You should have your corner with you right now. Okay? Oh, I'm sorry, that's your set. Okay, but that's another way you can do your cast off 3/4 from a column. Okay? Let's square your set. I want to do just a couple of singing call figures. Touch your quarter, scoop back. With the right hand, cast off 3/4 round. Boy trade, spin your top. Slide through, take your corner promenade, you promenade. Go walking around you do, go walking around the ring. When you get back home and then, head couples promenade halfway. Go walking around. Head past the ocean, extend, swing through, boy run around a curve, bend the line and right left through. Hey ladies, lead Dixie style, boys with the right, cast off 3/4, girls face in, boys extend, swing in your promenade, promenade that ring, here go walking around you do, getting back home then, one more. Side 2, square through 4, go around the ring, all the way around, swing through, boy run right, and the ladies trade, cast off 3/4, ladies lead Dixie style, and boys cross fold, swing corner, waiting there, promenade that ring, you know it's true, everything I do it all for you. So there's a few examples of singing call figures you can use with cast off 3/4 round. And that's not really too hard stuff if you walk it through first during the pattern and so forth with your dancers. And I think that's something that a lot of even weaker mainstream dancers could probably pick up. Okay, so thank the dancers very much. Thank you guys. I'm going to turn it over to Guy, and he's going to take it from here.
Let's sit down for a second, dancers. I'll look in a few minutes.
We'll just
Get to talk about first. Okay, the call I'm going to talk about is spin the top, and that's a fairly straightforward call. I'm
You have
a
any
relatively
questions on
new
that,
caller
Cast
still,
Off 3?
and whenever I'm considering using the call in an unusual way, I do several things. One is that I talk to the callers more experienced than I am. I also go to the CALLERLAB documents. I go and look at definitions, I look at teaching tips, and I also look at the standard basic and mainstream applications. And there's a lot of good stuff in this document. As I was leafing through this document, I realized that there are 6 calls at mainstream that have standard applications from waves, but 0 waves is not standard. I think about that. 0 waves is not standard. 3 of them are the box calls with circulate, walk and dodge, and scoot back. Those are normally done from number 1 and number 2 waves. The same sexes facing in. Another one is right and left grand. Yeah, we don't have waves for that to work. The 5th one is turn through, and the last one is spin the top, which is normally done from 1/2 wave. It's got the standard application. So we're all familiar with the singing call figure that goes head square through 4, do-si-do, swing through, spin the top, right and left through, square 3-3, swing and promenade. It's not a lot of singing call records. And for a very good reason. It works well. The choreography is great. That swing through, spin the top, right and left through figure has a lot going for it. The swing through builds up the momentum. The spin the top adds interest by changing the shape of formation. The right and left through gets you back to normal couples, and you're ready to go with something else. It's really fantastic. And because it's fantastic, it's used a lot. So we're here to talk about what can be done a little bit differently to make things more interesting. In the handout, I've got a checklist that I use, that I made up for myself, of ways to probe to make a call different. Things like, can it be done left-handed? Can it be done from a different formation or a different arrangement? And in each of these, you have to judge, does making a variation approach the right level of difficulty what we're trying to do? So a left-handed spin the top can be done. I know folks that do it. It's not that common. You have to decide whether your floor can handle that. I'm not going to talk too much about left-handed stuff during the rest of this talk. If a call uses a number of fractions, you can try using a different number of fractions. It doesn't apply to things like square root. Try leading into it with a different call or coming out of it with a different call. Try using it to set up and get out. Try doing it twice. Does the facing couples rule or the ocean wave rule apply? It's a good question to ask. In the case of spin the top, yes, the facing couple rule applies. And you decide whether you want to make use of that or not. Does the CALLERLAB definition suggest extended applications of variations? Well, yes, it does. If you look at the definition, which I put in my handout, the comments cover the application of spin the top from waves of 3. Oof. I'm sure I want to go near that, but it is done. It's usually done by just 4 dancers. Try calling it all 8 or vice versa. In this case, we can invert that. Consider using head to spin the top as a get-in. Not down the street, do some other things. You can try using set up an unexpected get-out, such as a spin the top right into a right and left grand. And you can also try modifying the dance action in some way. This isn't done so much mainstream, it's done a lot of challenge, like replace the cast-off recorders with something else. I'm not going to get into that either. But that's the checklist of variations that you can consider. Now, I think the teaching tips that are in the definition, the teaching document, are really great. I don't have too much to add to that, except for something that I picked up from Ted Lazat, which is when you're teaching certain kinds of calls, it can really help to address the dancers twice. What do I mean by that? Well, instead of talking about spin the tops by saying, okay, everybody arm turn a half, now the girls cast off your quarters while the boys move up. We come into waves. Say something more like this. Ends with the adjacent centers, arm turn a half, in this case by the right. Now the new centers, that's the girls in this case, cast off 3/4 while the ends, that's the boys in this case, move up in the quarter circle and come into waves. Notice that each time I've addressed the dancers twice. First with a situational designator that has to do with the actual definition, and then with a more permanent designator, boys and girls, which is something they tend to remember and is more permanent. And this does a couple of things. One is that on the one hand, it confirms the definition and distinguishes between what happens to be true from this particular formation and what is true in the general case of the definition. And on the other hand, by talking about centers and ends and then confirming, oh, that's you boys, oh, that's you girls, I'm confirming that they understand the arrangement and that they are understanding the centers and ends. While they're learning these calls, they're also learning about things like who are centers, who are ends, formation awareness, that kind of thing. And this is just this little trick of addressing the dancers twice when they're not sure. This really helps to confirm that they know what they're doing and what is temporary in the current situation, what is permanent in the definition. Okay, so that's my comments about that. Now I'd like to get a square, please. And I've got oh, that's a good looking square. 4 sides and everything look good. So here are 2 pattern sequences that use spin the top in slightly different ways. The spin the top itself is largely routine. In some cases, I'll be doing it in 0 ways and some 1/2 ways. What's interesting is how you get lead up to spin the top and how you get out of it again. And you bow to the part. In the corner, 2 heads touch a quarter. Same ones walk and dodge. All touch a quarter. Scoot back. All eight circulate. Hinge. Let's finish that circulate first. Now do the hinge. You have it already? Good. The center is straight. Spin the top. Into a square through 3. Right from there. Using the ocean wave rule. You're facing out. Wheel and deal. Center is square through 3 hands. You slide through. And a right left through. 2 ladies chain. Straight across that set. Up in the middle and back. You have facing couples. Spin the top. Step it that way and spin it. And a right left grand together. Promenade. And when you get home, when you get there, side square through 4 hands. For the outsides, you'll touch a quarter. Scoot back. Circulate. Swing through. Spin the top. As normally done. But from here, we've got a title. Just the girls spin the top, please. Boys hinge. Those who are facing directly, point to pass through. Center is wheel and deal. The other is cloverleaf. Center step away and spin the top. Extend and swing through. You'll spin the top. Do it twice. And a right left grand together. Promenade. Heads left touch a quarter. Left hand, same ones, walk and dodge. Right and left through. You slide through. Pass through. Bend that line. Touch a quarter. Column circulate. Cast off 3 quarters, you'll have a title. Boys trade, then spin the top. Recycle. Callahan and left. And all right, you should be home. You should be home at this point.
Yes.
Good, square set. Thank you, Square. Plus this music moment. Stay up, Square. Okay, so there's some interesting ways of setting up spin the top and using them from unusual situations that I think this Square succeeded at. I like watching it. It looks really good. Okay, I've got some examples of singing false figures as well. Yes, question. Yes.
I was looking at your notes here.
Deborah,
And on page
Deborah.
2, the first, I'm sorry, I'm Deborah.
Tell us who
and I'm
you
right
are.
in the way of the, Mom!
Tell us who you are and get out of my camera.
I'm Deborah Carroll Jones, and I'm from Arlington, Texas. And I was reading your sequence here. The heads touch a quarter, same ones walk and dodge, touch a quarter, scoot back. And you wrote circulate. And I thought, does he mean all 8 or does he mean split? Blind, okay? I have to have it very clear. When you called it, you said all 8 circulate.
I did it.
So then the next sequence, this is cool, okay? The next sequence, we get to kind of the same place, head square 3, touch a quarter, scoot back, and all you said was circulate, and you guys did an all 8 circulate. Why did you choose to do that? As opposed to the split?
Because he didn't say split.
Okay, I was just curious, because now see me on that, I have just done something in a box of 4, and my mind has me in that box. Okay, so that's all I'm pointing out to you.
No, you're absolutely right, and watching out for change of focus and giving answers the correct cues is extremely important. I thought I could get away with just circulate the second time because I'd done all these circulate the first time and had the brain.
And that's what I thought maybe had happened, all right? Because I thought, well, they did it the first time, so now they just presume that that's what he wants. We sort of know what he meant.
And you're right, doing a cold saying all 8 circulate is really important.
Well, and I wasn't meaning to correct. I was just interested in how they came to that conclusion. Because as a teacher, if we're teaching all this stuff, we need to know that. We need to know how the learners' minds are working. Because not all of us, especially my mind, doesn't work a lot like a lot of other people's. So I wanted to clarify that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, that is a good point that I glossed over.
Okay. Hi, Mom.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to stick my neck out here and try to do a full singing call. I think this square is up to it. I'd like to practice one thing first if I could. Hit square through 4. And a right and left through to the outside 2. Step away and spin the top. And do it double. Second, spin the top. Good. Turn through. With your partner, star through. California 12. That should bring you through. My timing was not best here. I just wanted to prime on that double spin the top there. Notice, by the way, that spin the top twice can be choreographed equivalent to right left through and step away, which is a handy thing to do. We'll be needing that in this singing call. In this singing call, I'm going to use spin the top quite heavily. I would not normally do this. This is for demonstration purposes. And I'm going to be using it during the opening, the break, and the closer, as well as during multiculars, which is relatively unusual use of spin the top. So we're going to give it a try. This is the way. It's on Alter Ego Records. And just find it. Set this here. There we go. Down the partner. In the corner two, the head swing through. Same one, spin the top. Head recycle. That's my place. Zoom. Side swing through. Side spin the top. Recycle. Element left. Short promenade home. The head swing through. Same one, spin the top. Extend all swing through and all spin the top. And a right left through. Square through, 3 hands around. Take that person promenade. Here's the timing. Bring home. Okay. Heads promenade halfway. Come down the middle. Past the ocean. And extend. Swing through and then. You spin that top. Boil up the right left through. You turn that girl and then flutter wheels straight across. Sweep one quarter one. Swing the corner round. Where will they go without ever knowing the way? That figure's actually on the record. They never promenade. Heads past the ocean. Same one swinging through. And spin the top. And a right left through, back away, sides past the ocean. Swing through. Now spin the top. And a right left through. Element left. Come back and promenade if you want to, I don't care. Sides square through 4 hands. With the outside swing through. Now spin the top. You'll have a wave, recycle, and sweep a quarter. Square through. On the 3rd hand, box the net. Swing it all promenade. Where were they going without ever knowing the way? Sides touch a quarter. The girls pass through. Centers swing through. Outside girl run around that boy. Extend and spin the top. See how he says that one up? And a right left through. You turn that girl and 2 ladies chain. Straight across. Square through 2 hands. Swing promenade. Where will they go without ever knowing the way? Okay, get ready for digging. Head square through 4. Step away and spin the top. Now spin the top. And a 3rd time, spin the top. Once more, spin the top. Box the mat, right pull by, back to the partner, don't passo. Partner left. Partner right. Courtesy turn. You're back at home. When you get home, 4 ladies change. Over and back. And you bow to the partner. In the corner 2. Thank you, Spur. That was some tricky material at the end. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Guy. We're going to try to leave the questions till the end because we have like 4 panelists in this, not 3, and we've got a lot of material we want to get through. Okay. So, Dave, you're next. Dave Eno.
Thanks. What I'd like to do, I'm going to apologize ahead of time in case I need to. I want to replace couples 1 and 4 because they stacked the square ahead of time to work with. We've sort of arranged the material. So let's give couples 1 and 4 a big hand. They did a great job. But yes, the pennies too. That was Bill and Deborah, I think. And Bill, you might have to ask Deborah to dance again.
By the way, I think promenade's still on the list, isn't it?
Last I checked, yes, promenade is official call on the list.
I just call it once the dancers have fun, however they want to.
Okay, so I'm going to talk for the next few minutes about a powerful recycle. It's the last one that shows up on the mainstream list. I chose this one to talk about. It's not the easiest one in the world to teach. So I'm going to start off by talking about how we might want to approach teaching this. Let's have head couples lead right. Veer left, bend the line, past the ocean. Now you probably know that this is the standard. If we have a standard setup for a recycle, it's the girls in the middle and the boys on the outside. Okay, so I'm going to start here when I walk through how I've found that how I teach this and have some success. Okay, so the definition, the CALLERLAB definition, is pretty good. It'll say the ends of the wave will cross-fold, the centers will fold in behind them and follow them around, and they'll end up as a couple. But there's 2 words that I found that help out a lot when you're teaching recycle, and those 2 words are drop hands. Okay? Because a lot of times, and I don't know why, this is just from experience, if you don't ask the dancers to drop hands, some of them will want to keep the handhold. And that doesn't end up in a successful recycle. Okay, so everybody has an ocean ring now. So who's on the ends? It's the boys, okay? So when the boys, you're going to think about doing your cross fold, and the girls, you're going to drop hands, turn towards the end guy, and follow them around. So let's do that for a second. Follow them around and end up as a couple. They noticed the people in the center who were the girls switched hands. They did have their partner by the right hand, but now they got their left hand and their partner's right hand. Okay, let's step to an ocean wave, and the girls trade. Okay. Another thing that we can do is that when we're doing recycle that may help is the end person, when they cross fold, give a little bit of a tug, okay, to get the center person going in the right direction. Maybe you need to do that, maybe you don't have to. But especially if the center person, for whatever reason, starts moving the other way, especially when you're teaching it, maybe for teaching purposes, you can say give a little tug, okay? Everybody again, recycle.
Yeah.
It's not a big, you don't have to, you don't have to dislocate. So everybody veer left and do a half of a couple circulating bend the face in. Okay. So some of the material on this handout, some of the things that we're going to look at with recycle have, they require that the dancers know recycle from other positions besides the standard position. So if you're going to use some of this material in the dance, I certainly don't recommend doing it cold, especially if you don't know the dancers. You want to make sure that the dancers know how to recycle from every position before you try some of this material. Okay? Now, you may have to teach the dancers how to do that, and that's okay. Here's the way I teach it that works out fairly well, where I have the most success. So the head couples pass through, separate around one, make lines. Everybody pass through, and do a wheel and deal. something like this, so we get all same sexes in the middle. And now we'll work with the same sexes. Let's have the girls step to an ocean wave. Now I found that it's easy.
I got it. Okay. Dave, I need you to move while I can see your back. That's what it's all right.
Yeah. I had my back to the camera so it was breaking. Okay, so my point was that sometimes it's easier to work with the same sexes. Okay, you have to say all the girls to do this, and then we'll work with the boys afterwards. So we have an end girl. Okay? You're gonna have the part that might feel a little bit different. So the end girl, you're gonna cross, fold, and the center girl is gonna turn towards that girl and follow her around. Don't forget to drop it. Girls recycle. You might have to do it a couple of times. Now, girls step to an ocean wave. You can't just do it once because you'll be teaching two girls how to do the ends part, and the center two girls, and they might not know how to do the other part. So you can't just teach it once. Girls swing through. You want to make sure you get the girls in both positions. Okay. And I think you guys can do this. Girls recycle. Fold. Good. Now let's zoom. Now it's boys' turn. Boys step to an ocean wave. Good. Now we can work with the boys. And the center boy is gonna, this may feel a little bit different. If you don't know your dancers and you're going in, this would be considered a non-standard formation. So all the boys recycle. Center boy drop hands, follow the other boy around. Good. Boys swing through. Here's the other setup. Okay, boys recycle. Center boy drop hands, center boy follow the boy around. Good. Let's have boys pass through. Everyone star through. Good. Couple circulate. And let's do a Ferris wheel for now. Zoom. Square through three in the middle. An element left in the back.
Dave, can I interject something real quick?
Sure, of course.
Did you notice that when you have the boys all doing the boys, actually two of the boys pretty much know what they're doing, the ends, the centers don't. So that's a lot of these calls, if you can teach it with when you teach with the same sex, for instance, square through four hands, if you have the men doing it, or if you have the men doing it with themselves, two guys know pretty much what they're doing. It's sort of foreign for the one in the ladies' part. So some of these calls, like Dave said, if you get the sexes together and teach them that way, that's a lot easier to teach the call. Right.
Good. Let's have a couple step in and face the corner. Let's touch a quarter for now. And the weight you're in, all the centers straight. Centers run around the ends. Do a Ferris wheel. Centers pass through and step to an ocean wave. And the centers straight again. Now this we have same sexes together. After we work the recycle in the middle, this would probably be the next thing I would do in the playground with recycle. Everybody from here, everybody knows what parts recycle. Good. Let's veer to the left. Bend the line. Pass through. And let's wheel and deal for now. And zoom. Girls pass through, step to an ocean wave, and everybody recycle. You start to get more comfortable with the recycle from all different positions. And once you're comfortable, the dancers are comfortable with recycle from all these different positions, then you can start adding more creative uses of recycle to your choreography. Now there's one thing I'm going to point out, and this is from experience, for me being a newer caller. If you're not comfortable as a caller working recycle from non-standard positions and then remembering or realizing where dancers are going to end up, you might want to be a little careful. You don't want to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation doing this. And that comes from experience. Okay, let's single circle to an ocean wave. Center straight. recycle. Good. To your left. Ferris. Centers step to an ocean wave, the others have sachet. Good. Extend your tag. Everybody recycle. Galloping left. And then promenade backwards. Here's a neat little get out. Let's have the heads lean to the right. Veer left, bend the line, and do a right and left through. This is a 1P, 2P. You could call lean to the right and circle to the line, but that takes a little bit longer. Okay. Pass the ocean. Swing through. Got the buoys in the middle now. Everybody recycle. And what can you do next? Right, right, and left. You don't have to do that. Great right and left get outs can be very exciting for the dancers if you don't overuse them. And that's a nice way to go from a recycle and do a great right and left. And but in order to do that, people have to be able to do every part of a recycle. Okay. There's something else you can do. Let's have the heads past the ocean. Extend, hinge, centers trade, spin the top. You're looking to have right hands with the same sex here. So I've set these guys up with a tidal wave. Okay? We have the same sexes in the middle, happens to be the boys. So watch this. Boys, recycle. Girls, work.
Facing each other. Boys are facing.
Boys are facing each other.
Why are you there?
Boys got to switch sides. Now the girls work behind the boys because you were on the end of the wave. All the girls recycle to work behind the boys. At some higher levels, there's a different name for this. There's a different concept. We don't need to know that. Dancers don't need to know that. You can get them to do this. Okay? Just prove that right here. Centers pass through. Everybody pass the ocean. Right? Suppose we don't want to have the girls recycle. We want to have the boys do their part. I can't ask the boys to recycle behind the girls. They wouldn't be behind them. So we have to give them a different directive. I might say the boys recycle to the head positions. So why don't we do that? Boys recycle to the head position. It gives them a different target. And you want to have the dancers have success. Let's have the girls extend to the guys. Do a single hinge. The boys trade. Let's spin the top. And how about a grand swing? Let's have all the boys run around the girl to the right. Now here's a setup. You can get dancers to do this. This is probably the most difficult one on the list. I'm going to ask the girls to recycle to the head position. Don't do it yet. Okay. One thing I want to point out before you do that, notice the girls have right hands. Okay. Unless you've worked left-handed recycles with the girls, you want to make sure they have a right-handed setup here. Because that's going to be, if it's not, it's going to be a surprise for the dancers and for you. Okay. Girls work to the head positions, recycle. The end boys slide in and make ways with the other boys. Okay. All the boys extend to the girls. Now let's do an all-eight circulate. Let's have the girls run around the boy. Pass through. Tag the line. Girl leads turn back. Promenade partner back. Oh, ground sequence. Sorry, don't do that. Right. Just where yours is. Teach me to try to be cute. Good. So that's I'm out of time, but that's just a few things that I wanted to point out about call recycle. And the main thing is be aware.
very much, Dave.
You need us to, can I just say one? I love to see how other callers teach recycle because I think it is one of the most difficult mainstream calls to teach. And especially a newer caller because they haven't learned all the don'ts yet. And one of the best ways that I learned to teach recycle came from a newer caller. And it works whether you're the center or whether you're the end. Whoever is in the center, follow the ear of the end. Right? You're always going to kind of look at the ear, and when it brings you around, you will end up where you belong. Hold on. Right. We're here, okay? I'm following his ear. I'm following it, I'm following it. I never lost it. Okay? And if it's like this, follow my ear. Okay? Follow my ear.
You think I'm going to follow you?
Just a little tiny hint, and it has helped me so much in my teaching. Thank you.
Just to take this moment for a minute. I have had to face your corners. Okay. Make an ocean wave. I'm the author of recycle. Yes. From a technical standpoint, okay, let's say the girls fold behind the guy. That's a 1/3 recycle. Start to come around and make 2 ocean waves here. Right here. Just 2 ocean waves. No. That's a 2/3 recycle. Now face each other. That's your full recycle. So there's a 1/3 recycle, a 2/3 recycle, and a full recycle. Make an ocean wave. The 1/3 recycle is this. Girl fold behind the guy, come around to make 2 ocean waves. That's a 2/3 recycle. Face each other. That's your full recycle. 3 parts. Don't tell your group about it.
Thank you very much.
Super job.
Okay, it's Wendy's turn.
Yeah, I do want to keep the dancers, if you don't mind. I took a little bit of a different trade. Ends do a U-turn back. Centers only do a right and left through. Oh, did I miss something here? Veer left, bend the line, and you should be home. I must have missed something. Square your set. That's the problem with reading notes. There you go, reading notes. Sides lead right. Swing through. Hinge. Do a walk and dodge. Centers trade, ends do a U-turn back. Everybody slide through. Centers do a right and left through. Veer left, bend the line, and you should be home, or it's better that way. All right. And heads lead right, touch a quarter. Centers trade, do a walk and dodge. Centers trade, ends cross fold. Girls turn through, swing and promenade a half a step, and you should be home. And sides touch a quarter. Those boys run around the girls, make a wave. Just the girls walk and dodge. Boy facing out, run around the girl beside you. Everybody hinge. Boys walk and dodge. Boys run around the girls. Just the girls. Yeah, I think Deborah needs to be facing the other way. There we go. Just the girls walk and dodge. Okay. Where are the head girls and the side boys? Each of you run, then promenade home. Was it a reverse promenade home? It worked at home.
I'm sure it did. I wasn't in the square.
It works in Canada. Must have done it in French. I don't know. Side couples lead right, veer left and bend the line. Boys walk, girls dodge. Swing through. Hinge, centers trade, boys run. Boys walk, girls dodge. Everybody walk and dodge. Everybody do a U-turn back. Slide through, pass through, do an outline left in the corner. Come back, promenade. Again, I'm not mentioning the different places that walk and dodge is happening from, but I'm sure you can feel it. Can you guys see it? Are you watching along with your notes so you can see the different places, okay, just for driving? All right, heads pass through and wheel around, then half sachet. I love wheel around and half sachet. Sides pass through, wheel around, half sachet. Heads, girls walk, boys dodge. Sides, girls walk, boys dodge. Everybody hinge. Boys trade. That's a half a star. Boys run around the girl, bend the line, should be home. All right. Sides lead right and slide through. All right. Girls walk, boys dodge. We are left-handed. Surprise. Don't you hate left-handed, all right? Everybody walk and dodge. Just the centers trade. Okay, in this, hang on a second. Ends trade. There we go. Boys walk, girls dodge. Boys trade. Pass the ocean. Everybody circulate. Boys go half, girls go once and a half. Slide through and you should be home. Okay, sides slide through. Pass through. Slide through. Touch a quarter. Okay, now we're into columns. Okay, walk and dodge. And stand in your own box of four. Good. Outside separate around one to a line. Everybody touch a quarter, walk and dodge. Outsides turn to face. Do a right left grand. All right. You're pretty close to home when you meet them again.
Yeah, there's a couple of solid coaches in the middle.
Head ladies or side ladies chain go straight across. Heads pass through, separate, go around one, make a line. Everybody touch a quarter, center four only, do a walk and dodge. Put centers in, however you can, cast off 3/4. Boy facing out, run around the girl beside you, then touch a quarter, center four only, walk and dodge. Girl facing out, do a U-turn back, swing, promenade. Okay, now we get into some fun stuff. That was really not odd or very difficult. There's some left-handed, but nothing really odd. Okay, heads pass the ocean. Girls trade. Extend. Swing through. Everybody extend. And only the outside boys run around the girl beside you. We have columns of 6. Do you see your column of 6? Okay, so there's 2 girls who are not in the column of 6. In your column of 6, do a walk and dodge. So 4 people walk and 2 people dodge. Good. The outside girl now do a U-turn back. Once again, columns of 6, walk and dodge. Very center, two girls trade, and the girls swing through while the boys do a U-turn back. Girls extend to a slide through and promenade home. Right. Okay, sides lead right, veer left, and bend the line. Touch a quarter. Okay, now we have columns of 8. Okay, in your column of 8, walk and dodge. So 6 people walk and 2 people dodge. Good. Outsides do a partner trade. Center, boys run around the girl beside you. Everybody pass the ocean. Then hinge. And once again, columns of 8, walk and dodge. Which I guess we should officially call a 6x2. Okay? Center girls do a U-turn back. Everybody trade by, swing your partner, and you should be home. You're home. Okay. Heads pass the ocean. Those girls trade. Extend, and the girls trade. Okay, side couples, do you remember who you are and where you are? Sides on the diagonal, do a walk and dodge. Heads on the diagonal, do a walk and dodge. Everybody half tag the line. Boys run around the girls, pass the ocean. Girls trade, boys circulate. Girls circulate, girls do a U-turn back, reverse promenade. You're home. All right, how are we doing for time? I know I've got about 4 minutes. Let's skip to that one and do this one. Sides touch a quarter. Do a walk and dodge. Everybody touch a quarter. Center 4 only walk and dodge. Okay, now the ends, you have a box around the centers, of course. So the ends working in your box do a walk and dodge. Some of you got to go pretty far. No, don't go behind. I would have gone in front. I don't know if it matters. I would have gone in front. I don't know if it matters or not. Okay, boys run. Girls trade. Circulate left, so you're almost home. Circle, not circulate, circle left. Okay. Sides pass the ocean. Extend and spin the top. Everybody hinge. Center 4, walk and dodge. Okay. Now the ends of the columns, you'll have to work around the centers, do a walk and dodge. The same 4 ends do a U-turn back. Slide through, pass through, do a wheel and deal. Centers pass through, do an Allemande left the corner. Come back up, reverse promenade. Perfect. Okay, I think I've probably got time for one more, and let me do this one because it was interesting when I did it at home with my group and John's group and the callers group. So here we go. Heads, girls walk, boys dodge, then hinge. Extend, and we better have a left-handed wave with boys in the middle by George. All right, center 4, that'd be the boys, walk and dodge. Okay, we have couples, and we have 2 people in mini waves, so you've got your own, okay, so whether, okay, those in the mini wave, okay, don't do it yet, just think about it, I want you to do a normal walk and dodge. The couples that are facing out, I want you to do a wheel and deal. Okay? Go. Mini waves walk and dodge, the others wheel and deal, and those that did the wheel and deal step forward up in between the 2 people that did the walk and dodge because we didn't do it on the diagonal. Yeah, let go. Yeah, there we go. If you're facing out, run around the person beside you. Pass the ocean. Everybody walk and dodge. Wheel and deal. Double pass through. First couple go left, second couple go right. Left touch a quarter. In your column of 8, do a 6x2, walk and dodge. Just the girls in the middle do a walk and dodge. Boys do a partner trade. Everybody touch a quarter. Girls cross fold. Jump in her arms, give her a swing, and do whatever you want. Pretend you're at home and bow to the partner, and we'll stop it right there. So some of that was quite different, and obviously, you know, as everybody says you never do stuff like that probably all in one night unless you're preparing for a workshop like I did, and then you put your dancers through all that in one night and they look at you crazy. But anyways, just ideas of things to do with walk and dodge. Okay, thank you.
I'm taking bids for the video.
And Wendy, we're going to have some questions and answers here to
Can I
say.
say one thing first?
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
think, why don't everybody give these dancers a hand?
That's right.
Thank you for the answers.
You know, this is CALLERLAB, and it's kind of fun to do this stuff, but watch yourselves at home. Okay? Because if local callers, and I want to, if you get a reputation of breaking the floor down, you will never, ever lose it. Believe me, I know a few callers, and they don't mean to, but they try some of this stuff, the dancers get frustrated, and they get a reputation of, he likes to break the floor down, you know, and you never lose that reputation, you never do. So be very careful where you use some of this stuff. Workshop, fine, don't do it in an open dance, please, okay? How about some questions? Dave, Bill, and please state your name and where you're from.
Bill Boyd in Florida. This is much as a question or comment. On recycle, one of the things that I like to do the first time I teach it is I like to say, and the dancer, if you look down the line, you see somebody looking the same way as you. Remember that cross-fold? What I want you to do is walk around and look at that person the same way as you. And I have them do that maybe twice. And I say, that's where you're going to go. And if it happens to be the girls in the center, then I can say, girls, boys have been chasing you your entire life. It's time for you to chase the boys. Turn and look at his back, follow him in a circle, and end up almost right back where you're at. I don't tell them they're half a step back. But most of the time, if you have them do that cross-fold by walking over there, I find it becomes very easy. They just don't seem to screw up. And then when I change from girls on the end, I can do the same thing. Someone's looking the same way as you, walk around and look at it. Then it doesn't matter whether I have 2 boys together, 2 girls together, or 4 boys or 4 girls. When they do the recycle, they automatically know that they're going to go around and do a cross-fold. That's one of the things that I've done. It's been successful for me. I don't know.
So you say you have to cross-fold and uncross-fold?
I do, yes, I do that. And then the other one more quick comment, and that is on spin the top. I always tell the person to look at the dancer they're holding hands with and smile at them, because when they're doing a 4-person spin the top, they're going to end up with that same person. And so when they do that spin the top, I always say, if you're not looking at the same, if you're not holding hands with the same person, don't blame me. I didn't screw up. You didn't do your walk. And they always laugh. But they always start and end with the same person. Those are my 2 comments.
What'd you do there? That cast off.
Who are you?
Tell us,
Cast off is
please.
a blue cotton in Long Island, New York. The cast off 3/4 is pretty hard to do. And one of the helpful hints in teaching that is I would do it for ocean waves first to 2 couples. Is to tell them first that if you line up at the head position, you're going to line up at the side position first. And of course the one you're holding you're going to have again. But one of the things, if you're going to do it from like a completed double pass-through position first, after they squeeze in and then push to cast, if you're looking at the head wall, you're going to be facing the side wall. But before you even do that, I would first let them work with just 2 couples first. And hold your partner first, trade first, and then trade a quarter more. Trade first, and then a quarter more. 3/4 is pretty hard to do to begin with. So I would deal with it as a trade, and then a quarter more. Trade, and then a quarter more. And then after a bit, then they might get used to the 3/4. And then the center's in, and then the push. And if you're looking at the head position, you'll end up looking at the side position. That's how I would deal with it.
Very good teaching tips for that.
Lynn Nelson, Kansas City. Like him, instead of saying if you're facing heads, you'll be facing sides, I tell them anytime you're going to turn a quarter or 3/4, you're going to change the direction of your step formation by a quarter. And that seems to help. But also, I learned at collar school, if you take normal size steps, 5 steps will get you to 3/4. And I count that in a square when I'm dancing, and it has worked wonders for me, and it's helped a ton of my dancers when I'm teaching.
How many steps?
5 steps will take you 3/4. And whether you're pushing from the center around the end or you have it around your hands, you're using your hands as the pivot point. 5 steps is 3/4. I learned that at college school. It was worth every penny I paid that time.
Anybody else have any?
Nobody on this side of the room?
Does anybody have any? Go ahead, Bill.
It's on.
Bill Boyd with Florida. One thing when you're counting walls, and I got this from another caller, is that most people, if you just say count the walls, the wall they're looking at, they usually start with 1. You have to tell them that's 0. And I've discovered that. Because I'm counting my walls. 1, 2, 3. And that's not a wall. That's 0, 1, 2, 3. And I've actually had to emphasize that rather than when people want to count walls. And I never thought of that until another caller told me.
I've had dancers ask me that too, and I tell them, they say, but I started facing that, and I says, yeah, but you're turning a quarter. You haven't turned yet. Why are you counting? You're turning 1, then you're turning 2, then you're turning 3. Remember, it is a 3/4 turn, right? So you count your turn. But anyway, but yeah, I've had the same thing. That's how I treat it. That's how he treats it.
That's why I started telling them 5 steps.
Does anybody else have any teaching tips that you use for some of these calls? Because we'd love to hear them.
This is Wendy again. I'll just mention, when I teach recycle, I've just discovered this lately, because I started to teach more from different positions, is I always say, the end person, all you have to do is a cross-fold. And so before I even say recycle, I'll say, okay, who's the end person? Remember, all you're doing is a cross-fold. And just stress that over and over and over and over. Because obviously by then they should have known cross-fold, or somewhat anyway, if not perfectly, but anyway, they can generally do a cross-fold, and I just stress that you just, who's the end person? That's all you're doing, and the other person, just follow them. There's no other place for you to go. So stress that it's the end person that does the cross-fold, and it seems to be helping some people that have had problems in the past.
What if they don't know cross-fold?
Then there's generally a workshop. I generally teach stress cross-fold before I get into recycling.
I say ends start to trade, centers follow. Ends start to trade to the other end of the follow, and then centers follow, and then take a hand.
All kinds of different tips.
That's from California. I don't have my own club, and all the times I've had to teach recycle to it turns out that they don't know cross-fold. So I always start teaching recycle by teaching or reviewing cross-fold, and the way I do it is I have ends cross-fold, extend back to a wave, ends cross-fold, extend back to a wave, swing through, ends cross-fold, extend back to a
How do
wave.
you extend back?
What?
How do you extend back?
Well, they're standing from the first step.
So extend to a wave, not extend back. No, sorry, really. I don't know
Well,
what you meant by extend back.
From the dancer's point of view, they were in a wave. I've taken them out of a wave and told them to extend back into a wave.
Uncross.
It works very well for them.
Okay,
Not
good.
meaning go back,
Uncross-fold.
but to go back to the formation that you had.
Return to a wave.
Yeah.
Go back where you came from. Sorry, I really didn't know what you meant by that.
You should really know the history of recycle, okay? The history of recycle was written as an all-eight group. Anybody know that there's a facing recycle?
Yeah.
You know that? Okay. I had the call, but I had no name for it. And it was originally written from a quarter tank position, where the heads past the ocean, and it was written as an all-eight recycle, with the center wave and the recycling around the outside too, and the people on the outside came in and did a facing recycle. So I had no name for it. So I was driving to school, I used to teach. I was driving to school and I saw a garbage truck that said all-eight recycle. That's how you get it.
How did it turn into a four-person call? Do you know how that turned into a four-person call?
Well, I have no idea. The Washington Festival, that's how it came out. When I taught it, I taught the parts that way. I taught it as a face and recycle first, and then as the two couples working it, and that's how it worked out. Yeah, then it stuck that way. But it was an all-in, but seeing the garbage truck, you know, recycling garbage and all that. The inside out and the outside in.
Thanks, Lee.
Chuck George, Oklahoma Way. I always wanted to ask Mr. Puppet, how did you originally want the center for to all age groups now?
I didn't even think of a 1/3 or a 2/3. I didn't even think of it that way. I'm afraid to tell you how I teach the recycle to my older dancers, but I won't. Just do it this way. And I just have the end stuff. Because cross-fold, I mean, when do you teach cross-fold? How do you teach, when does cross-fold come in?
Just before.
Just
It's
before.
too close before it's like.
All right, well, now I'll do it that way. You know. I won't even tell you how I do it now with my group that's in their 70s or 80s. Because my wife would kill me. You just do it the way they should. You know, you called something before that was really terrific, and it just slipped by on the with the cast-off 3/4. Can you get a square up and I'll show it to you?
We have about 3 minutes, Lee.
You got 3 minutes to do it. It was really terrific. It was great choreography. I'm sorry you let it go by. With that cast-off 3/4, it was really terrific. I have the heads past the ocean. And do a swing through. All right, now let's have the centers run around the ends. You're a girl, right? Yes. All right. There's a two-face line. Can you see it, yes or no? Yes. All right, let's have the girls pass through. You see this mini wave on the outside? Okay. In the wave in the middle, a cast-off 3 while the other's straight. Everybody grab hands to an Alamo ring, it's right there. See that? So when you had the centers pass through, you had a right-hand column in the outside, you had a two-face line in the middle, and somebody cast off 3, which is a good part of the casting, put them right into an Alamo ring, which is really very nice. And there's another thing I wanted to point out to you. Who did the recycle? You did? Square your set. I want to tell you something about this. Have the heads move in, face your corners. Slide through. Touch a quarter. Or maybe it was not. I think who was doing the walking dodge? Okay, miss. If you wanted to do a walking dodge on this side, you have to say each side walking dodge. If you want to say everybody walking dodge, it's an all 8 walking dodge. If you want to do each side, you say each side walking dodge. Different altogether. You don't mind, do you? Go easy. Yeah, you can.
Say, can I disagree? By definition, walk and dodge is in your box of 4. So, like I say, the workshop was not to explain all the different. Like, I assume that people, like I said at the beginning, that people knew the walk and dodge. So that's why I said when we had columns of 8, I specified in your column of 8, and at one point I didn't because that was the box of 4, and at one point I did because then it was the column of 8.
It would be a big help though if you said each side walking dodge.
If they were unsure, yeah. And probably the first time I called it, I probably would have, because just to remind them in your box. Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
You're right, I'm wrong.
Okay, I think that's about all the time we got, folks. We have handouts in the back of the